Everyone has a favourite form of storytelling and a go-to genre that they gravitate towards, whether that they are scrolling through Netflix or deciding what film to watch in the cinema. From light-hearted comedies that can make you want to burst out into laughter, or the dopamine rush and thrill of a jump scare from watching a horror flick. Each individual of a viewer has their own little taste palette. Think of it as food for your eyes, if that makes any sense. So here are some of my favourite genres, and for you guys to get a little insight on what stuff I particularly like. Also, I'm not restricting this to movies only. This is a multimedia video, so not just movies. This list goes between movies, TV shows, anime, video games, and so on. I like to keep my borders as open as possible, especially for you guys. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 5. Sports. Look, I've been into sports as long as I can remember, and no other genre has actually pushed me to working out, getting my body in shape and trying new sports and martial arts I've never done before. You get the biggest endorphin rush after as well, walking out of a cinema, and it's the most exhilarating feeling ever. Whether that be something as gritty and grounded as Warrior, or something as exaggerated as Kuroko no Basket. It just gets you amped, man. And to be honest, it's just a fun learning process, learning the rules and mechanics of a new art form, from globally popular arts, whether that be football or basketball, to even something as niche as high school volleyball. The sports genre tends to have very character-driven tales, very much character dramas, you could say, wrapped in the coat of whatever sport it may be, using the sport itself to propel the theme of whatever the writer wants to push. And although most movies follow a very similar blueprint to each other, its execution, majority of the time, is perfect. Like, you come for the sport, but stay for the love and character of the plot. The underdog archetype is a very common character trope in the genre, where mostly all our protagonists are pretty much fighting for their lives, metaphorically or even literally at some points. And again, with the underdog, it's someone that audiences can easily sympathize with and cheer for. Even if you're not a fan of boxing, MMA, tennis, baseball, whatever it is, with good storytelling, you'll be hooked. Number 4. Space Western. I've never actually been too fond of westerns growing up as a whole, but when you fuse that with science fiction, oh boy, that's a different story. It's so stylistic, I bloody love it. Like, you get the western genre and dope it up with the robot and spaceship steroids, and there you have it. From space bounty hunters and pirates traversing and smuggling across the Milky Way galaxy just to make a bit of cash. Super cool and frantic gunfights. Its episodic nature as well, it's just something that's so easy to jump out and jump into. Similar to something like playing a video game, if you get me. Every episode is kind of like its own little mission the cast and crew need to achieve. Heist, train chases, saloon shootouts, and brawls, and escort missions specifically. Even though some stories set in fictional locations, the space western still retains the iconography of its original genre. Music and sound are especially utilized here, usually spearheaded by cool and badass revolver swinging protagonists that never quiver in the sign of adversity, even when outgunned 1 to 100 men, and still somehow make it out alive. You can't not fall in love with it. Bang. Number 3. Epic fantasy. New and faraway lands, amazing worlds, creatures and cultures. The word epic is not an understatement when it comes to this genre. World building and escapism is an essential foundation in these type of stories. The plethora of different POVs in these type of tales, whether that be manga, movies or novels, tend to follow an RPG-like cast. Again, with a library-sized variety, you can legit have anything and everything from dragons, mages, wizards, knights, giants, fairies, powerful houses and clans, and larger-than-life locations that will have you awe in wonder. It feels as if the world keeps moving with or without your presence. These are just some aspects which I love about this genre. There's so much lore and mythos in these pieces of fiction that are heavily rooted and inspired by our own mythologies, religions and history, but sometimes very much exaggerated and dialed to 11. You would surely be lost in wonder and immersion when consuming these stories, ranging from complete absurdity and grandscape of something like One Piece to the richness and wonder of Lord of the Rings. Like, the author deadass created his own language for these books. That's insane when you deep it. Like, honestly, if I were to meet any fictional writer of my own choosing, it would most likely be J.R.R. Tolkien. Number 2. Action. If you want something that encapsulates the term masculinity, these are my go-to films, especially if you're new. Just that the genre is title itself, action is the name of the game. A lot of people say these kind of films are just to turn your brain off to enjoy, but people are seriously missing out on how much technical and physical ability are put into these movies. Some of the best fight sequences I have seen to this day, and it's jaw-dropping on how they are pulled off. Hundreds upon hundreds of hours into stunt work, choreography and set pieces, and not just the scale of practical stuff as well. The VFX in these movies really and truly show how talented these guys are. All you can do is just admire it. I wouldn't say it's the most narrative heavy genre, but with simple premises you get the most creative set pieces out of them. And you know, sometimes less is more. Number 1. Shonen. Yes, my comfort genre, what can I say? These type of stories are pretty much a compilation of everything in the list above, mixed all together. Epic battles, balls to the walls action, cool and intricate power systems, and of course my favourite of all, power of youth. There's such a feel-good factor with this style of storytelling, the life lessons especially, man. Like me personally, series like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto taught me more on learning about oneself than anything I was taught in school. And I'm serious, I'm not even joking, I think some of my mannerisms and characteristics came from watching these, in a good way of course. Positivity, determination, spirit, and never giving up. You see characters start out as pure puny and hopeless, but through sheer wit, will, and hard work, they break through physical and social boundaries in their respective worlds. Please tell me you never even got a shiver of excitement watching a 1v1 duel during an anime shonen tournament arc, or one of the protagonists unlocking a new form or ability. Inspiring is the word on how I would describe the shonen genre, and you definitely can't deny that. There you have it, those are my top 5 genres, and yes, I know some of these titles that I have mentioned can kind of leeway into other genres as well, but I think I categorized them quite well. An honorable mention to Star Wars, I would probably put in the epic fantasy genre, although you could say it's more sci-fi. I consider it sci-fi fantasy just because it's pretty much wizards in space, flame swords, the force is basically magic. I'd put it into fantasy. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but it is what it is. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please comment down below your favourite genres and let me know if we have anything in common. And yeah, with that said, please like and subscribe, and I shall see you guys next time. Peace. Shoo.